Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today I have a book haul for you guys. Some of these you definitely have seen on my shelves, hence some empty space, but I haven't actually talked about these books that I've purchased. Some of them are special editions, some of them are series continuations, and some of them are standalones. So I have split the video into those three sections. You can check out whichever ones you are most interested in. I do have a mix of books that I've already read and books that are new to me. Most of them I've already read, but a lot of these I absolutely love, which is why I'm adding them to my collection. So let's start with the standalones. The first book that I will mention is one by an author that I have dearly loved. I actually have the series that I have loved by this author on my shelves twice, and that is Heather Fawcett, who has written a new book called Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter, and I'm really excited to get to this one. I haven't read this one yet, but this is supposedly about a person who owns a cat shelter. The cat shelter is in peril for some reason, I'm not exactly sure why, and they turn to a grumpy magician to help them out of the pickle that they're in. And I just freaking love this cover. You can see all of the cats and the mischief that they're getting in. There's a lot of little tiny intricate details. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies actually makes an appearance on the cover of this new book, so I can't wait to figure out what type of writing this has in it and how cozy it is. I know it's supposed to maybe feature a romance, which I have enjoyed from Heather Fawcett in the past, so we'll see if I end up loving this as much as I loved that original series. The next book is a book that I have read. It is my most recent acquisition for my collection and also one of the best books that I've read this year, and that is Kill the Beast by Sarah Swift. This is a debut work that is touted as The Witcher meets Howl's Moving Castle. It's a revenge story. I freaking love this, and I will shout from the rooftops that more people should read this and that this is not a romantasy. This is mismarketed as a fantasy romance in my opinion. I believe that the relationship that is formed within this is just a really, really strong friendship, a different type of love, and the path that one takes in finding someone that you just genuinely love spending time with. And I freaking loved every second of this. I thought it was a lot of fun. You're following our main character whose name is Lysa, and from a very young age she has vowed vengeance on the fairy and the fairy monsters that exist in her world because they are responsible for her brother's death. Specifically, she has been trying to find the beast that killed her brother, and she has been unsuccessful, but she has been very successful in this career that she has chosen in hunting fae. She's known as the Butcher. She's very good at her job, and she's very rough and gruff. Well, along comes a nobleman who knows about a mythical beast that he would like to have killed, and she thinks that it might be the same one that killed her brother, and so she ends up having to team up with this nobleman to find some artifacts that are going to help kill the beast, and that's how they end up kind of getting stuck together in the quest. He very much knows what he's doing, but he is very kind of happy-go-lucky. He flaunts the money that he has, but in a really endearing manner, which I loved. And I really, really love this book. I think that more people need to read it, and I'm hoping that I can help this book find its proper audience. So I hope that if you are worried about it because of the romance, that you put those worries aside and pick it up because it's fantastic. And it's fitting that this next book is the next on the list because it is the polar opposite. It is absolutely a romance. It's cozy romance to begin with, and that is The Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. I dearly loved this book. I also really loved The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which I do want to add to my collection, but I haven't found a copy of it yet. So I did find one recently of this book in my local bookstore and decided to snatch it up because I think these stories are very, very sweet, very cute, very cozy, but not sickly sweet for those of you who are a little leery of cozy. In this book, you have Sarah Swan, who makes a decision at the very, very beginning of this book that causes her to lose a lot of her magic. She originally, when she was very young, had more power than many magicians alive today, and because of this decision that she makes, she loses it all. And you follow her 15 years in the future, having lived this life that she had never dreamed for herself because she thought she was going to be a magic user and she was going to do stuff with her magic. when in reality she became an innkeeper. She runs this inn with her aunt, I believe, and things ensue that you get to see Sarah live through this regret that she has, but also not regret because of the decision that she made. Ended up giving her something, I don't want to tell you too much, but it ends up giving her something that she dearly loved and doesn't want to regret. And there is a magical society who ends up reaching out to her that she had past experience with. I don't know how much to give you because it's been a minute since I've read this, but I absolutely love it. The relationship within, you are seeing both of the individuals heal from certain things, and you really get to see Sarah learn to love herself and give herself a little bit of grace, which I love those types of stories. I love to see someone healing within prior to giving themselves to someone else, and I think that this author definitely does that. So if you're looking for a cozy romance that maybe will make you cry but also have you all warm and cozy inside, this author is one that you should definitely pick up. Next, I have another book that I haven't picked up yet. I was supposed to read it in February and I just didn't have time, and that is The Inevitable by Daniel Hope. And since I haven't read this, I don't really have a ton of information to give to you other than it follows our main character, who is a robot. He's one of the last robots alive, and he is being followed by the collectors, who are individuals who collect rare items, which he is now considered because he's one of the last robots alive. And as he tries to evade these people who are hunting him, he has to find different artifacts in the world to keep himself running because he is slowly breaking down. And I really hope that this is an exploration into humanity, which is one of the things I would just dearly love about a lot of sci-fi. I think that it sounds lovely, and I just freaking love this cover. I can't wait to get to this. I probably won't get to it in March because of my TBR is just absolutely stacked in March, but I definitely want to get back to this as soon as I possibly can. Moving on to series reads, and I won't tell you too much because all of these are the end of a series or the last book published in a series. So first one is City of Miracles. This is the last book in the Divine Cities series by Robert Jackson Bennett. I loved the Divine City series. I would say that I actually enjoyed it more than I did the Shadow of Leviathan series with The Tainted Cup and A Drop of Corruption. I think both are excellent, but I think overall as a series, I really liked the characters in this and the gods that are depicted within the story. All I'll tell you is the Divine City series, you're following really a main city who used to be in power because of the divinities in that city. The divinities had supposedly died off and that city lost power. A lot of neighboring kingdoms came in and took over, and a diplomat ends up being murdered in that first book, and you follow an aristocrat coming in and trying to solve the mystery of this murder, and ends up finding out some information about the divinities that no one knew and gets herself into a little bit of a pickle. Each of these books follows a different character, so City of Miracles definitely follows a different character than that first book does, but each of them has their own mystery, and all of it has like an overarching through line of these divinities and how they come into play. I love this. The mystery components are excellent. I think that the characters, especially in the second and the third books, are my favorite. And the gods, I think, in the second and the third book are more interesting than the one in the first one. I think my favorite divinity is probably in City of Blades, which is the second book, but excellent series. I am excited to have more Robert Jackson Bennett on my shelves. Next, we have the second book in the series, but the last one published, and that is The Strength of the Few. This is the second book in the Hierarchy series, starting with The Will of the Many. If you haven't heard of The Will of the Many, it was my favorite book in 2024, and it follows our main character, Vis, who is an orphan. You learn throughout the book his history and lineage and why he really does not want to give over himself into this hierarchy, this kingdom that he has inhabited for a while now. The magic system within this is each of the people within this kingdom submit their will to they essentially just submit to the people above them, and it creates this huge hierarchy of people who have more and more and more power, more abilities to do different things, and this is absolutely against it for reasons that you learn. You also have a magical school he gets pulled in to try and circumvent and spy on some factions within the government. I think that it's really, really interesting. It's also very rich within the politics involved. I have really, really loved it. This second book definitely was intense. It develops the magic system and the world at large, or yeah, I'll just say that, world at large. And I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to see where the series goes from here. And I guess I was wrong. This one is actually the first in a series, but it's a series that I'm on the last book, and that's Justice of Kings. I've been waiting to get a hardback copy of this because I did find the second book, Tyranny of Faith, in a half-price bookstore. So I really wanted to make sure that I could get the first book in hardback, so I have the whole set in hardback. This is a grimdark fantasy following a character who is the secretary to a justice. The character's name you follow is Helena, and she follows a justice in this world where justices are meant to deal out justice. So they're literally people who go out and give sentences to people and tell them what their punishments will be. They have a lot of power within the kingdom. They also have some magical abilities involved. The one that she is following has some necromantic abilities, which is really interesting, but they are in a society that is collapsing. They have three main factions of government. One of them, which is the justices, has fallen out of grace or out of power, and there's another one that is up and rising that's causing some havoc within the kingdom, and you get to follow the fallout of that. I have really liked the series so far. I'm hoping that the third book, I did try the third book this past month, and I ended up DNFing. Soft DNFing because I just have been in a funk and it wasn't working for me, and I think I needed something cheery, and this is definitely not that. A lot of kind of fantasy horror elements within the series I've really enjoyed. So here's fingers crossed that I'm going to enjoy the third book and I can add this to my series instead of having to donate this. We'll see. On to my special editions that I have purchased. I did end up getting some special editions from Broken Binding, and I'm very excited about them. They're very pretty. And I have talked about a couple of these in videos, but I just thought I would put it in a book haul because I haven't done an actual official book haul in a couple of months. So the first set of books that I will talk about is the Cemeteries of Amalo series, which is The Witness for the Dead, Grief of Stones, and The Tomb of Dragons. These are all by Catherine Addison, and they are a companion series to The Goblin Emperor. You are following our main character, whose name is Thara Kelleher, who is a witness for the dead. He can speak to the dead, and because of that, he ends up getting pulled into some murder mysteries, just some mysteries in general, helping people grieve their loved ones and making sure that the dead have their dignity. And I just absolutely love it. I love the world that's created within this series. I'm so happy to have some special editions that are just very beautiful with sprayed edges, and I just love these. I also have the paper editions or the paperback editions of these books that I might use for annotations later on whenever I go back and reread the series. So very excited about those. And then the last two that I will mention, I know one of them has been on my shelves for a while, and I have never talked about it as far as the owning the book, but I can show it off now, although it's been on my shelf for a while. And that is the Ascendant and Unbound, what is this called? Songs of Chaos series. And I just absolutely love these editions. They are absolutely stunning. And they have end pages that are beautiful. The covers have these amazing foiling to them. Broken Binding definitely has done an amazing job with these, so I'm very excited to have them in my collection, and I'm hoping to get to Unbound this month, so I know if I want to continue purchasing these beautiful special editions, because I loved Ascendant. Since I haven't read this one, I don't want to continue buying the series unless I know I'm going to continue to enjoy it, so that's why Unbound is on my TBR this month. If you haven't heard of Ascendant, it is a YA fantasy series following a young boy who lives in a society of dragon riders who protect the world, or protect their kingdom, from what's called the Scourge. And he is a cook's son. He is meant to become the next cook, and he doesn't want that. He wants to be a dragon rider, and clearly from the cover, he does end up becoming in possession of a dragon that is blind, and he and his dragon have to do various things in order to save their kingdom. And I just really liked it. I like the relationship between Holt and Ash, and I love the backstory of his family, and I just can't wait to see what happens next in Unbound, and I just hope that I absolutely love it, because I haven't enjoyed a YA series as much as I've enjoyed this one in quite a long time, so that is impressive in its own right. At the end of these unhaul videos, I always go through with you guys how many of these books I've read versus how many I've not read, because I did make a goal this year that I don't remember the percentage that I chose. Was it 90% or 80%? I don't remember. But I made a goal that I want to make sure that I'm reading more of the books prior to purchasing them than I did last year. So out of these 11 books that I've shown you, I have not read 3 of them. With Agnes O'Bear and The Inevitable and Unbound. 2 of these are on my March TBR, so hopefully that will be alleviated shortly. And then the other 8 books, I'll see if I can not make a mess of this. The other 8 books I have read, and so I think I have made myself proud with this book haul. I have read the majority of the books that I purchased, and I'm very excited about them because they are all books that I plan on rereading at some point in time. I'm excited to have these editions. If you guys have read any of these, I would love to know your thoughts on them, whether or not you liked them, you hated them. I would love to have a conversation with you guys in the comments. Or if you guys have any recent purchases yourself that you would love to share, I would love to know what you are excited about adding to your collections. If you aren't feeling chatty, but you still want to let me know that you're here, leave me a little, is there a fox emoji for magical innkeeping? Or there's also a bone chicken here. I'm sure there's not a bone chicken emoji, but maybe a chicken emoji. So I know that you guys are with me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.